I totally believe that a tournament director should make money for their time and effort. I don't believe they should make more money than the winner.
People replicating what you're doing.
Yeah, I've seen some other people around the country now doing it, but nobody put one in Emily Frazier's hands. I did. As soon as I got my shot, I treated it like I was anointed to become the 13th apostle. I had to just do it perfect. I said, with the size that we have, we can do anything we want.
This episode is brought to you by Integrity Cues, BSN's trusted source of premium pool cues and accessories. Shop the entire inventory online now at integritycues.com.
All right, on today's episode of Talkin English, I am here with Frank Maialetti of PA Pro-Am Pooll. I'm very excited to talk everything about live streaming, tournament direction, and everything that I think they're doing very, very well down here in Philadelphia versus the rest of the country. So, Frank, pleasure to meet you.
Thanks for having me out, buddy.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure to see you today. We're going to start right from the beginning.
Sure.
Because there'll be people out there that don't really know a lot about you, but they'll have now seen your stream, realize it's very, very high quality.
All right, rack number 12. Mika firmly in the lead, 7-4, trying to get himself onto the hill.
How did the dream start? Where did it all kind of come from?
It actually started from a bad pool tournament.
Really?
I went to a 2-day event. I wound up winning the event. It's been a while since I played pool, and kind of dusted the cues off, went out to an event. Small event I bought bought myself in the auction. I won the event, and tournament director made more money than I did. Now, I totally believe that a tournament director should make money for their time and effort. I agree. Someone that does it, I get it. I don't believe they should make more money than the winner. So I wasn't happy about that. I had a couple of friends of mine. I have a league background, running leagues for many years. So a buddy of mine said, well, why don't you do your own? So December 17th of 2022, we ran a tournament here at Bluegrass. An open event, PA Pro-Am was not created yet. And really well, 80-something players, good event. I made a few mistakes that day, which I rectified. My first time doing it, and I don't know, I just liked it. So
that was it.
About a week later, just sitting around during Christmas time, so sitting around scribbling some stuff on a paper and kept drawing this PA Pro, and just hit me PA Pro-Am.
What year was that?
2022.
So you remember it right out the back of COVID?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go out, going to do something for myself.
Yeah. And PA Pro-Am actually doesn't stand for Pennsylvania. Everybody thinks it's Pennsylvania Pro-Am.
Yeah.
It stands for perfect alignment. If you're perfectly in line, your shots are going to go in.
See, this is why I've known Frank for a while, and he's never told me that. I don't know if he just saved that snippet. I always assumed it was just Pennsylvania.
I leave it because PA Pro-Am could work for Pennsylvania, and if I grew to go nationally, then I can just extend PA out as perfect alignment. So all my trophies say PA Pro-Am, but my state championship trophies will say perfect alignment pool on it.
It will.
Yeah.
Now that you've pointed at the trophy, I wanted to leave that for a minute, but those things are magnificent. As a former WWF fan, there was nothing better than raising the belt up and wearing it across there and being like, wow.
I've always wanted something different. Everybody has the same glass trophy, which is great. Win a trophy, it's wonderful. But when you put them all on a wall, they just kind of go in a row, like league trophies or league plaques. Put that on a wall, someone's going to stop. They're going to look at it.
It really is incredible. I mean, even the studs on the side. Who produces those for you?
So that's Trophy Smack out in California.
Trophy Smack?
Yeah. I reached out to them. I liked what they did. I reached out to them. Total, just out of the blue, thinking maybe they could do a discount or something like that. We wound up talking, and they were actually an official sponsor of mine. I'm the only one in pool that they sponsor. So I technically brought them into pool.
But then they say, what is it? Something about flattery. People replicating what you're doing.
Yeah, I've seen some other people around the country now doing it, but nobody put one in Emily Frazier's hands. I did.
Emily Frazier's hands. She's doing something really remarkable, I think, for the game, and I think now we can kind of talk a little bit about your affiliation again with the World 9-Ball Tour. with Emily, what Matchroom are doing. How did that all begin, and what do you see as the future of pool with them on board?
Well, me beginning with Matchroom actually was just, I took a shot. And I just, you never know what kind of answer you're going to get until you ask the question.
Right.
So we went to the U.S. Open last year, and Brendan Moore, who was Matchroom's tournament director at that time, I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, man, I kind of run this thing that's going on. It's catching some traffic, in Pennsylvania. I love what Matchroom does. I love the theatrics of it. I love just the global scale. How can I be involved?" All right. That's the only question I asked. He says, "Well, reach out to me because we're running these things called ranking events. That's how they get the players get the points to get towards Moscone." And I said, "Okay." I reached out. We had some conversation. I asked Emily. I just walked right up to her and just asked her. Emily she's the top of the top. But if you don't walk up and say, "Introduce yourself, I'm Frank Maialetti. Here's what I do. I love what you do. Can we be involved?" What's the worst you can say? "No, thank you, but I love what you do. Continue what it is." Just give me a shot. Plain and simple. And as soon as I got my shot, I treated it like I was anointed to become the 13th apostle. I had to just do it perfect. Everything that I put into this is blood, sweat, and tears for almost a year.
And I noticed that from, the quality that you have on the live stream. How much has that evolved over time, and how much did you have to learn just on your own?
So I've only been doing live stream for about a year and a half.
Wow.
I could actually tell you where it started. It started on the table right over there.
Right.
The second table in.
Oh, wow.
I was playing a friend of mine, and her name's Alyssa, and she wanted me to live stream the match, and I didn't want. I said, "What's that? I've never heard of it." My exposure to pool on television was like ESPN or buying the Matchroom events. She sets a cell phone up, we play. I said, "Oh man, it's cool," And then I'm the type of guy, if I go down the rabbit hole, I go all the way down.
Right.
So I started looking into streaming, did a small little camera here and there, and then I realized very quickly that you can add your artistic touch to it. I have an artistic touch. Once I saw that, it was like an outpouring of all thoughts that I had of television and theatrics. You said you were a WWE fan, so was I.
Yeah.
So, growing up in the 90s, when you heard the glass crash of Steve Austin, this Titantron, everybody comes out, crowd go nuts. All that plays a factor into what I do. PA Pro-Am's colors are red, black, and white. I'm a big Star Wars fan. It's actually modeled after Darth Vader. Darth Vader's big theatrical. When Darth Vader hits the screen, oh my God, everybody's,
Yeah.
So for me, I wanted to create an extension of my thought process, my mind. And then when I got into it, I just wanted it to be fantastic. I started reaching out to other streamers. I talked to you a few times, Josh, Collins, and everybody. It's how you make your approach.
Yeah.
If you make your approach and you are ignorant or disrespectful, people are going to just shut you down. "Hey, how you doing, man? I'm just starting out. My name is this. Can we talk about a few things?" First time I met you, we had a great conversation over a couple of beers, and then it just went from there. It's all about how you make an approach and how you help grow the sport. If we're all working together, it can just bubble out.
I noticed that with the Billiard Sports Network. That's how I first got into commentary and helping out. Obviously, Josh Setterfield, who runs the other half of this side, and Mike DeMarco was another one with Ship the Cash.
Yeah.
And I think that he was very willing to share information, helped out Upstate Al.
Yeah.
For me, he was one of those connectors that kind of shared all that technical knowledge. And I think you produced your stream to that exact same quality. So
yeah, I look at it as a television, even as smallest things. I've had some gigs where I went to a gig out in Western Pennsylvania, like 20 people. I still treated it like it was the Moscone Cup. I set everything up. I had it all properly. I got names, graphics. If you're going to do it, you do it right. Don't do it half.
And in the beginning, you reach out for sponsorship, and we see the wall behind you, and obviously a lot of the sponsors that you've got on board now. Are people coming to you now saying, "I want to be on your stream"?
Yes, some people are coming to me. I mean, I've gone to some people. I've also been told no. And again, you don't know until you ask. You have to grow yourself. Also, you have to be worth it for them. Mm-hmm. If it's monetarily, if it's product. My first sponsor was Kamui.
Really?
Yeah, John from Kamui.
John Bertone, is that?
John Pertone, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, quick story on that one. We were at the expo, and there was somebody that ran a stream the night before, and it was Lucas Werner versus Guama for an obscene large amount of money. And I put my camera up. PA Pro-Am was very new at that point. I had 5 or 6 times the viewers of the person that was actually streaming the match.
Oh, wow.
And the next day I approached Kamui. I said, listen, here's that person's stream last night. Here's my stream from a cell phone.
Right.
500 people at a time. I think Corey Deuel jumped on Allison Fisher. And I said, is there something we can do? Can I show you what I can do? And then I brought all my equipment in and just all from there. Going to these events over the years, I've made connections with pro players and road
So you
players.
felt traveling and seeing people face to face was important, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've been to every WNT event this year. I've traveled every single one: Boston, Virginia, U.S. Open. I mean,
That's right.
I get a lot of phone calls. Dude, you're everywhere. What are you doing there? I came out to see what's going on. Like if you can't get in the mix, you're not going to get to achieve another level.
Right.
If you just sit at home and watch from the couch, you're just a guy that's going to watch from the
So
couch.
is this your full-time gig now, or
No.
are you working
I have a
elsewhere?
full-time job, man.
Full-time job.
Yeah.
See, people don't know how much effort that goes in, and I see your very supportive wife, Mindy.
Yeah, we both have full-time jobs, and it's not that we make a great living on what we do,
Right.
but that helps this, okay? And she being as supportive as she is, there was 3 times this year I was away for a week, down to U.S. Open for a week. I was in Boston for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
She holds it down at home. She'll sign up. She'll get the people sign up for the tournaments while I'm out doing the PR essentially for us. And it just it's a It's even more than collaboration. I mean, one of my best friends, Kevin Steer from Integrity Cues, I've known him for over 30 years. I mean, we went to high school together. It's when you have great people in the business that you deal with, great things happen.
I was noticing that. I'm a big fan of Kevin myself, and I'm going to have him on the show eventually. He's one of our main title sponsors with Integrity Cues. And, seeing what he's done for you, you mentioned there a lifelong friend,
Yes.
and willing to put his money where his mouth is,
Yeah, Kevin is the type of guy that if he's going to back you, it's going to not just be friendship or financial. He's going to get behind you. And Kevin was here taking out the trash this weekend.
I noticed it.
Yeah, I'm also not above when I'm working with my guys, working with Kevin, my wonderful crew that was here this weekend for refereeing. I'm not above getting in the dirt, taking out the trash, doing the dirty things. I painted these walls.
Wow.
This week,
Oh, man.
I actually, these lights that we put up for the tournament, I helped Zach and them put things together. I have no problem getting in to make my product and to help the people that are part of me help them better. I set the booths up if I need to.
So talk us through that. This is a wonderful venue here at Bluegrass Billiards. Very fortunate to have such a supportive room like that.
Yeah.
So if I'm a streamer out there and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, how do I get my foot in the door? Talk us through how that relationship blossomed with Bluegrass and how you got to this.
This is a very long relationship. So these owners owned a very prestigious pool hall years ago in Philadelphia called Talkin Billiards.
Okay.
And Talkin Billiards was a staple for road players. You could walk in on a Tuesday night and literally see Efren playing one pocket on the first table. Or Spanish Mike LeBron, he would bring in, just world-class players. I was younger. I was 20. I'm 43 right now. I was 18, 19, just watching these guys, just admiring them from the rail, But I was always in the mix with the guys at the pool hall and the owners, and became friends. And that pool hall closed. Then they took a couple years to really work out a business plan, and they opened this place. And because I'm friends with them, they kind of gave me a shot, but friendships and business sometimes don't mix. So I got a shot. That's all I got. Everybody needs one chance. I had a home run with my first shot, and then I just continually kept going and kept going. I'm very fortunate to be able to use a pool room of this size every day. There are people that pay thousands of dollars to get a room this size for one event.
Right.
I sleep here.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally have a bedroom in the back here. If we're tired one night, we sleep in the bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Like it's not only that I put my heart into it, they put their heart into it, but they also put their heart into me. I make decisions here. I'm not an owner.
Right.
But if I make a decision here about something, they 99% of the time back me. If it's a decision that's questionable, we all sit down, we have conversations. Of course, I mean, they're the owners. I'm the tournament guy. Essentially, I'm like the concierge, the host. You know, I bring everybody in here. We just have great times. But they are very susceptible to new age pool. They're kind of old school guys. Back in the day, it's just that when we started the streaming, they were like, well, we don't know, you know, like, what about action and everything like that? My guys, action is now in streaming. I showed them all these matches from all across the country. And they were like, do you think we can do that here? Absolutely, we can do that here. I said, with the size that we have, we can do anything we want.
Really can.
I mean, we have 54 tables here, 25,000 square feet. I can do anything I want, any size event.
You really need to come down here and take a look at this, guys, because I can't believe how well run it was over the weekend as well. Having, you know, all of those tables just completely siloed off. You're not getting anybody walking past you.
Yeah,
it's great.
I wanted to make, as a player, I'm sure you understand this too, sometimes you go to events and they try. The tournament directors try. Sometimes it's hard for the players or the spectators just to get out of their own way. I wanted to make sure that this event was for the players first and spectators second.
Right.
Not that they're not as important, but if the players don't come to your events, there's not going to be no event. If you have 5 players show up, you're just having 5 guys playing pool on 2 tables.
Great.
But I always told everybody, I don't run in a tournament, I run an event.
Right.
My events include streaming. They include great tables, great matches. I'm picking players up from the airport. You know, when you come in, I want to treat you like you're God. I want to treat you like thank you that you're here, that you took the time to grace yourself and come here. I've had players come from other countries. When we first did our state championships, we started off with the women's. Bean Hung took 3 planes to get here.
Wow.
Okay, so of course I'm going to go make her life a little easier if I go pick her up from the airport or help her book a hotel room. You know, without these great players, this doesn't exist.
That's exactly right, mate. I mean, you've hit the nail on the head there, and you know, seeing what you've been doing, even as a live streamer and an event runner, and what you're saying, doing the interviews mid-match as well. I think when players come off the table and doing something, has that been something that you've done previously? Or?
No, it's actually our first time at it.
Okay.
So Alyssa Su, who is one of my commentators with me normally, we have Scott Frost here this week. We brought Freezer in as a special guest, and Lonnie from the WPBA. I wanted to kind of cycle through some of the people that I've commentated with and wanted to comment. I've always wanted to commentate with Freezer.
Sure.
I mean, he's phenomenal. But Alyssa, she's a very integral part of what we do. She is, she's a beautiful woman. Okay, she's knowledgeable about the sport. She plays at a high level, but she's very bubbly.
All right.
I don't think I've ever met anybody that has met Alyssa and not smiled or laughed when they met her. She is the perfect person for me to be the face or the spokesman. She could be out there interviewing the players, and she knows what the question is. It's not like we're coaching her like, hey, ask this question. She's the one coming to be like, oh, Frank, what do you think if I talk to this guy and ask him this question? Do you think it'd be great? She's awesome. She comes here. She met everybody yesterday, did interviews, but it was our first time doing it, and I think she hit a home run with it. Yeah, she was amazing at it. And then, of course, Freezer jumped in, did some interviews for us. He's been just aces since he's been here. And Scott and I are friends, but yeah, like we said earlier, there's the business side. And he's told me multiple times, he goes, man, this is a really smooth event. And I told him, I said, you don't have to say that because we're friends. Like, if there's something wrong, I want to know. He goes, buddy, I can't tell you anything wrong. He goes, I've walked around here. He goes, everybody's happy. He goes, there's food and drink being tossed all over the place to everybody. He goes, the bar's full. He goes, we're 4 or 5 deep in a row watching matches. He goes, man, you're really running something good. And it's taken me probably 2 days now to let it all come in, you know.
With that in mind, how much prep goes into this before the actual days, and
10
how many
months.
days? 10 months into this?
This is 10 months in the making.
Wow.
They awarded me this event right before the Moscone Cup last year. It was like around like December 5th or 6th. And since then, I wanted to just make a great event. That's the reason why I went to all the WNT events. I basically want to go do homework. What was done right? What did I think was done wrong? What do I think could have been different? And not to say that those guys ran bad events. They all ran wonderful events. Bo ran a great event in Boston. Chris Wilburn, Oscar. But you have your own way of looking at things. You have your own opinions. And it's, if you see something that they did, you know what, I don't know if I would do that. Or that situation might work for that pool room.
Right.
For this pool room, it might be a logistical situation, just doesn't work. So I literally have extensive notes. My wife used to laugh at me. I'd roll over in the middle of the night, wake up, sit up for a second, pull up my notebook and write something down and go back to sleep. I've had dreams about like what I could do, and I've gone back to sleep, like, and then I wanted this to have that feel of like the old, remember the old tournaments at the Expo in the 90s?
Yeah.
Like I'm talking like the early
Vintage
stuff, the vintage type feel of an old school pool hall with just walking in and pros everywhere. And I had guys coming up to me this week. I had a guy that's from Bulgaria. Came up and thanked me because Georgi was here. He's like, I didn't think I'd see a Bulgarian pro pool player. He's like, I'm changing my entire weekend. I'm staying here. He's like, I was going to go to a football game. I'm not even going now. I'm coming back here to watch these guys. Pro pool players, they travel, but they don't always get to these rooms. They're not always. Pennsylvania and Philadelphia used to be a hotbed for pool action in the 80s and 90s.
So you're a connector as much as anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm also a pool nerd, man. I know everything about pool. I know a lot of players. I know obscure pro players. I know road players. It's always, like I said, it goes back to circle about building relationships. There's a few people who don't like me, don't like my attitude or whatever, because I'm very upfront. If I have something to say, I'll say it.
It's direct.
But I think I also have a lot of respect because I do that. I'm never ignorant about it. I'm just saying, listen, man, I'm not okay with this. Let's talk about it. But I've also think I've earned the respect of a lot of the players from just being in the mix and donating to them so many times, And again, I'm a pool nerd. I just want to have pool here all the time.
Well, I'll tell you now, the brand recognition is strong. The perfect alignment makes great sense because I don't feel like for you, it's just a logo or just a name.
Yeah.
It's something that you're living and breathing every single day. And the amount of work that's going into it, I just have to say hats off, full respect for that.
Thank you very much.
What's the future of PA Pool from here?
I would really like to create sort of a feeder tour for Matcher.
Wow, okay.
I'd like to create essentially a minor league system.
Amateur, semi-pro, feeding into a tour
to bridge
card.
that gap. I've had a lot of players that are in this area that have come out that are high-level players. And they're like, oh, man, I really wish like I could play in these events or get them to take notice. And I kind of had this idea of Matchroom has the 128, the top 128 pros and the top one. People get older. Shane.
They drop off the tour.
Shane's in his 40s. Some players get older. Life changes for them. They have children, anything like that. They drop off. Well, how do you get more players back on? If I do something to where I build this feeder type tour where they can look into it and go, oh man, that guy that's in the second place position, he's won this event. He's playing really well. Maybe we extend him an invite to the U.S. Open, or maybe we extend him an invite to the European Open.
Yeah.
Being able to feed those players up into a pro system, I think is vital, especially for American pool. Overseas in the European pool and in the Asian pool markets, they already have a system in place to get those players to the next level in the upper echelon.
Right. It's in schools.
Exactly. Here in the U.S., it still has the stigma of a Bard league or a gamble game.
Shady.
Yeah, which is, sometimes it's fun, having action matches, things like that. You want to see guys play for a lot of money, but everybody wants to see pro pool players.
Right.
When a pro pool player walks in a room, everybody crowds around the table. So why not just bring in 100 of them and have everybody crowd around every table? But I'd like to see. I'll use Lucas Werner as an example. He's part of the Matcher 128. Lucas chose to wear my emblems. I didn't beg him or anything like that, and for me. That's when I felt like I'm really hitting a stride here. When the pros are asking me, "Can I wear your stuff, man? I like what you do," but I want to be able to put that next pro in there.
Yeah.
We got a couple junior kids here to play real strong. I would love it in 5, 6, 7 years
Support them.
to see them on the tour, and just seeing them play. And I'd like to be the next guy. As far as this WNT event, I love the Mosconi Cup. I love the players. I felt this was my way of helping.
Helping, right?
I got Tyler Steyer here. I got Oscar Dominguez. I got Sky Woodward. All three are in the mix. Essentially, PA Pro-Am and the Pennsylvania Open are going to be an integral part of who makes the Mosconi Cup this year.
It's a lot of money added, 10,000 added.
Yeah.
It's going on ranking points as well. So,
There's that 10,000 added came from Integrity Cues, Kevin Steer,
wow.
and Crossroad Cues, Mr. Eddie P. Without hesitation, they jumped on. Without hesitation. How can I help?
That's awesome.
Another Chris Wilson from the league room was another guy that just said, Frank, what can I do to help?
Solid dude.
Steve Dunkel Hughes, same thing. What can I do to help? It was never, what can you do for me? It's what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
And in turn, what I can do to help them is showcase them. I can put them on my streams. I can show the relationships that we have. I can showcase their great products. Steve Dunkel makes one of the best jump cues I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, it's insane. The Punisher, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best jump cues in my life. I went down to Chris Wilson's room. If you've never been down there, it's gorgeous. It's down in Parkersburg, Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah, he's got a great pit to stream at. I walked in the door. He said, my room is your room. Do whatever you want.
Wow.
We ran a great stream between Earl and Dennis Hatch. Eddie P, great man. Just as soon as we started talking, we just vibed. He was like, what can I send you? Do you want me to send you cues? Do you want I can get you banners? No, buddy. I said, yeah, we're good. I'm going to help grow you. I created great videos for him. He loves them. Kevin could have the PIN number to my debit card. That's how close we are, and I would feel safe. I feel safe with anything Kevin ever does, any venture he gets into. He taught me to be a man of your word. Transparency. Kevin said, listen, if you make a mistake, tell everybody. Hey, I made a mistake, guys. I'm very sorry. Let me rectify the situation.
Super important.
As a tournament director, you're going to make a mistake. I one time paid out the wrong amount. So I ate it. I called the other guy. I said, here you go. I'm sorry I paid you the wrong amount. Here's the money that I owe you. I apologize. And then I even wrote a post about it online. Made a mistake. I paid out the wrong amount to a player. I rectified the situation.
It's important.
None of us are perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect.
Right.
If we make a mistake, we man up, but we tell everybody we made a mistake.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the sponsors that I have back me as hard as they do, because not only will I go to the wall for them, but they know that if they need it protected or anything, brand protection, somebody's saying, oh, this product sucks. Nah, man, it's really good. Let me show you how maybe it's not working for you. Let me show you how it can be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just, it's all about relationships with me.
It's been super insightful for me, mate, and I wish you only the best of fortune, best of luck in the
buddy.
future.
I think you and I are going to do some stuff in the future, too, that are going to put us
Yeah.
all out there.
Yeah, like you say, full-time jobs, and this is our passion, and I'm really, really happy to be able to spotlight people like yourself that are really helping to grow
I'm
the
very happy
game.
to be
So,
on, too.
Pleasure, man.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
You got it, brother.
Thanks.
All right. Excellent.